Hey guys, it's Stern, and I'm back to give you guys another video. In this video, we're going to do a new concept than what we're used to. What we're going to do is we're going to go on this Instagram page. It's called NBA Would You Rather. And here what we're going to do is they're going to show you two options, A or B, and we got to pick which one we like. Obviously, we'll analyze why we pick every one. And let's begin. So the first one I saw was, would you rather A, play for the greatest coach, or B, play with the GOAT? Now, this is a hard one because, here is showing Greg Popovich and they're calling LeBron James. I do believe LeBron James is the GOAT, not Michael Jordan, but that's the thing. I was thinking about this, which one would you rather? Now, I think, personally, I would want to play for the greatest coach. Let me explain why. Kyrie Irving or Dwayne Wade, for example, or Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, stars that play with LeBron James, their talent level and their glory, they lose it. They lose it because there's LeBron. Nobody's going to look at the Cavs when they had LeBron, or nobody's going to and say, wow, Dwayne Wade was the game changer. No, they're going to say LeBron James was the game changer. And when you play with the greatest coach, then you only get success from that. And if, let's say, like, they're showing here Tim Duncan. So Tim Duncan is not the GOAT, did not play with the GOAT, but he has 5 championships, and he got to play with the greatest coach, and he was still considered the greatest player. So you're the greatest player. And because he plays Greg Popovich, he is top 10 of all time. I don't think if he would play with other coaches, he would have been top 10 of all time. Next, so we would pick the greatest coach. Would you rather prime Steve Nash or prime Steph Curry? This is a very easy one. Prime Steph Curry is so much better. His 2 MVPs were so much more valuable than Steve Nash's MVP. Nobody knows why I won MVP. Like, there were seasons where Kobe averaged 35 points per game and Nash only averaged 18 points per game. Steph Curry is a game changer. He has already three rings, and he might get much more. Steve Nash has no rings. Yes, Steve Nash is underrated. I think, he does have 2 MVPs. But again, you didn't win the finals. You couldn't, and you had a pretty solid team. Steph Curry was a game changer also with the 3-pointer. There's no question here. Steph Curry is much better. Would you rather be a lockdown shooter or a lockdown defender? Here they're showing us, okay, so this is kind of difficult because a lockdown shooter is probably going to be in the NBA. We'll talk about players who may not have the talent of the NBA, but they add this ability. I'm not talking about Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, even though they're in the picture. I'm talking about 2 players who or not that talented for the NBA, but they get this extreme ability. For example, we can take a player like Andre Robertson, which is out his defense. His offense is not NBA material. He will not be in the NBA. But you can't really find a player that just because of 3-pointers in the NBA. You can take, for example, Kyle Korver or CJ Miles, or who, like, pretty much all they do is shoot threes, or Wayne Ellington. Pretty much, like, all they do is shoot threes. They barely take 2-pointers. But even without the 3-pointer, they would have been in the NBA because you have like the mid-range. You have your mid-range, and you can get to the basket, and they're solid defenders. So I think I would much rather be a lockdown defender because that would bring me to the NBA. And plus, shooting, I think, is a much easier thing to learn than defense. I think defense, you got to be born with some kind of ability. Shooter, you can learn. Would you rather never be known or be known for Shaqtin' a Fool? Be known for Shaqtin' a Fool. JaVale McGee, people laugh about all the time. This guy makes so much money. He has beautiful women, beautiful houses, beautiful cars. All of his clothes are Gucci. Let me be JaVale McGee over Joe Ingles any day. In their prime, would you rather Duncan and Robinson or Davis and Cousins? Here, this is kind of difficult. I'm going to take Duncan and Robinson because they were successful to get a championship. And even though Davis and Cousins are good, they just couldn't get a championship. They weren't even close. Even though, DeMarcus got injured, you see this team was not going to a championship. So I'm going with Duncan and Robinson. As the Celtics GM, would you rather trade Gordon Hayward or Jaylen Brown? I would much rather trade Gordon Hayward. He has a huge contract, and now the younger players are becoming such good, they're going to want to get big contracts. And Gordon Hayward's making $40 million a year. So it's just much easier to trade Gordon Hayward, which is trade value is higher. Jaylen Brown might not get the potential to be Gordon Hayward. But here you're saving $40 million a year that you can pay Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. You just paid Marcus Smart. Terry Rozier needs to get paid. And you're getting more back because Gordon Hayward's trade value is higher than Jaylen Brown. So I would rather trade Gordon Hayward, even though he's a great player. Would you rather win the three-point contest or the skills competition? This is very easy. I'd much rather win the three-point contest. I think in the NBA All-Star Awards, the most, like the challenges, the most important is the dunk contest, then the three-point challenge, then the skills. People forget about the skills challenge. They just send in like Tyron Prince was there. Like, he's not that good. Like, what's his skills really? Three-point challenge, winning the three-point challenge, you gotta prove that you're really like a lockdown shooter. Great for Devin Booker winning it. He deserved it. 28 points most of all time. Would you rather see T-Mac and Carter stand the Raptors, see Harden Durant stand the OKC? Ooh, this is a difficult one. It's a difficult. People don't know this, but Tracy McGrady, when he was on the Magic, there was a season where he averaged 33 points, like 6 rebounds, 5 assists. This is, people don't understand how good Tracy McGrady was. Harden, I think Durant is always around the 25-point game score. Now he's with Golden State, and with OKC, with Harden and Westbrook, he probably will have scored. So I don't think Durant changes which team he's going to be on, unless it's like a rebuild team where he's like clearly like nobody is close to his talent. He'll score like 40. Usually on a good team, like a contender, he'll score around 25. So, this is going to, like, if Durant stays, it hurts Harden's potential. Harden doesn't become MVP. I doubt Westbrook becomes the MVP. Here, I don't know what will happen with Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady, because Tracy McGrady's prime was really on the Magic. I don't know if he would have gone to that prime with the Raptors. I don't know about coaches, if Vince Carter would have, how would the chemistry work with them, even though they're cousins. But I'm going to go with B, because I got to see OKC Big Three playing. I always wanted to see them all in their prime like now. What would have happened? Who would have won MVP if they would have won championship? It's a bigger what if for me. So I'm going to go with B, OKC. Would you rather have De'Aaron Fox or Lonzo Ball? It's like a stupid question. Obviously, Lonzo Ball. He gets so much criticism, but he's a great player. He's so much better than De'Aaron Fox. People are overrating De'Aaron Fox. He was not that good in his rookie season. Lonzo Ball gave you 11, 7, 7, and great defense, which is extremely underrated. Like, this is good stats. Like, you can look at players in the history of one Rookie of the Year, and he's had much better than them. Like, last year, Malcolm Brogdon won where he had 10 points, like 5 assists, and like 2 rebounds. Lonzo Ball's 11, 7, 7, and much better defense, and a much better impact on his team because he makes everybody better. De'Aaron Fox does not make anybody better. He doesn't put up that great stats, so obviously Lonzo Ball. Let's just do like one more. Only be able to shoot or have great handles and driving ability but can't shoot. I'm going to go with B. Because obviously, where it says can't shoot, you can always develop. I think great handles and driving ability is just so much harder to develop than shooting. Shooting's not that hard to develop. People don't understand that. Markelle Fultz, who did not know how to shoot, you see his videos off season, he can shoot the ball. And people just learn how to shoot. Like Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, people learn how to shoot, but great handles and driving ability. And, people are so into the three-point now that when somebody comes with great handle and driving ability, then it's kind of like surprise. Like, it doesn't really surprise, but it's like new to them. And as long as, I think if we take, I'm looking at these players, but I think only be able to shoot will be much harder for you. And out of these players, I much prefer Markelle Fultz, because if Markelle Fultz becomes a shooter, if he develops a shot, then he can be a threat, and he can pump fake and go to the basket, and people have to guard him on the 3, and he's just quicker than everybody, so we'll get there. Anyways, guys, thanks for seeing this video. I'll see how many views you get. If you get new subscribers, comments. If you guys like these videos, if yes, we'll continue doing more. NBA Would You Rather? Put me here in the comments. Let's go.